I'm Lou, and this is Reflect Joy. Today I'll be sharing a reflection on some of the ways that I became more active, efficient, and less stressed in life. I'll be sharing one concept and 3 things with you that you might implement in your own life. If you find it good, consider liking and subscribing. Let's get into it. So the concept of this video is reducing barriers. And what we're going to run into is that sometimes it's difficult to start to take action at something. Sometimes the task itself is a little bit difficult, and then sometimes we needlessly kind of paralyzed ourselves with a few too many options. And so the goal of this is to go over what each of these are and how they stand before us, and then how we might aim to reduce that a little bit. And so if we move on here, right, it's like make it easier to start something. So the idea being that, like, if we can just get up and start doing the thing with a little bit more efficiency, we're way more likely to do it, or at least this was the case for me, because I personally have some difficulties with, like, a force of action to will in certain circumstances. Like, oh, I just really don't want to do this chore or this piece of work. It's like, okay, well then, how do I make it easier to start doing that thing so that I'll actually see it through? The next one is making it easier to do, and this is a right tool for the right job. And so this goes back to the previous video where I talk about how to be better at doing things in the first place. It's like if you can analyze the process that's going into the task in the first place, and then turn it back around and try to implement it so that, like, the work or the task is better the second or the next time, this is a huge advantage. And so check the description for that previous video if you're interested in that. And the third one is what I would call standardizing things. And so this is removing your analysis paralysis. This is going to be removing your decision fatigue, and this is exceptionally useful. I'll get into the examples later here in the video about when you are so spoiled for choice in, like, a modern society and modern life. What can happen is that because you're making so many small decisions all the time, it makes you less capable to make the bigger and harder decisions when you should and when you need to be freed up for it. So from here, I'm going to move into the application. Like, what we need to think about is, like, why does a thing suck to do in the first place? Like, why do we dread going and doing the dishes? Or, like, maybe it's your daily hygiene routine, or, like, maybe it's walking into the office in the morning. Like, why do we dread these things? And, like, why are we having resistance to approaching them in the first place? Then how can we make it so that we have less resistance to approach it, less resistance to do it, and then be more focused on, like, the genuine task at hand by reducing decision fatigue? So the first thing that I want to use as an example is, like, getting started at doing something, and, like, working out is a big thing here. And again, I talk about this in the immediately previous video, and in the good material things video, I go into detail on this in, like, the last section of the video. Here, to reiterate from that video, what you probably need to start working out is, like, 2 kettlebells, or 1 machine that, like, accomplishes the muscle groups that you need. Like, don't make it contingent on getting mats, and, like, you need, 10 sets of kettlebells, and you need a bench, and you need, like, a full wall mirror, and whatever else, right? Like, the issue is that you've complicated the start process of the task. And so what's much better to do is to reduce the barrier to entry to the task so that you just, like, go do that thing. And then if you demonstrate to yourself that you do it, like, with some consistency, like the consistency that you would want to have with something like working out, it's like, yeah, maybe go invest in that if it becomes, like, almost a hobby for you. Good, right? So you get your second set of kettlebells, or you get your bench, or instead of just doing a rowing machine, maybe now, like, you go get a bicycle to go ride around, or whatever it may be, right? But, like, the idea is don't make the task more complicated than what it needs to be if this is all that you really need in order to just get started. Like, have an acceptable entry point into starting a task. The next one is, like, doing a task. What makes doing a task difficult? And so in my home, we have on the right side here the felt hangers or the velvet hangers, and on the opposite side are like the plastic hangers. Okay, the velvet hangers are nice. They're very presentable when you look into the closet and there's some bear there, or they're also very useful for things like actual collared shirts over like a plastic one, because it keeps it quite square, and so you don't have to repress like shoulders or something of this nature on like a material that does hold a bend in it. So that's a distinct advantage to them, right? But what they suck at, like terribly so, is any type of like cotton clothing or anything that you have to kind of drape over the top of it. So like a button up is fine because you can just like drape it over it, but anything where you have to feed the hanger through the piece of clothing to then pull it out the top to then hang it, like it gets caught every like 6 inches and you have to keep pulling and pushing, and it is atrocious. And so I've come to an agreement with my wife. It's like, I will assist you with just about every other chore inside of the home, and even including laundry. But like the one thing I will not do is I will not put like t-shirts on these velvet hangers, because it infuriates me. Like it makes me a worse man. It is terrible. And so sometimes the answer is like, okay, what is the tool that's going to make me like more apt to not have like clean hamper and dirty hamper and live out of a dirty hamper because like I know I should hang my clothes up in the first place? Like sometimes the answer is like the hangers that aren't gonna bind up on the clothing. Like let me go get that thing that's going to make it so that like doing this task is going to be a little bit easier for me, right? And so like a similar thing might happen with like dishes and some other chores where it's like, I hate doing dishes because my hands feel super gritty. I don't like the feel of it. Like I have to scrub everything out. It's like, okay, buy a decent sponge and buy a decent pair of like reusable gloves. And like, this is just going to make it so much easier for you to go do that task in terms of like, again, keep it a very low barrier to entry. Like, could you get 10 different types of like scrubby brushes and a bunch of other things for like doing dishes? Like now you've complicated it and you've gone back to that problem for the first step. So like try to acknowledge what it is that's making the situation like difficult for you, and then see if there's an alternate approach to it that'll make it a little bit easier. The last thing in terms of like decisions, this is something that like I've personally implemented in my life. And whenever the subject comes up with other people, they're like, that's perhaps a little weird, right? And like, maybe you're going to think of other things where like you have too many open decisions inside of your life. But like one is a wardrobe. Like I elected to simplify my wardrobe. And so I have like 30 of what is functionally like the same pair of socks in terms of like my day-to-day pairs that I'm going to wear just about every day. And then I have some winter socks and some like athletic socks, but also all of the winter and athletic socks are identical. And so like no longer am I having to sort like 24 pairs of socks and match them all up individually and these types of things. It's like I can just grab socks and like put them into twos and fold them so that I can just pull them out quickly in the morning every day. I also have, like, again, a couple dozen of the same pair of underwear, right? So, like, I'm just not making a decision about, like, which type of underwear or material or whatever, right? Then, inside of my closet, what I have is something that kind of more closely approximates, like, this side over here. It's like, I've got a, like, as a man, what you need is like a few white shirts, a few like French blue or powder blue shirts, and then like whatever color you like to wear, right? But like just I have all of the exact same, like I found one shirt that I like the fit of and the feel of and the breathability of, and I was like, done. Now I just need to like, as I want a shirt or I replace one, like just keep buying this same one over and over again. And now all I have to choose between is like, am I meeting somebody new? All right, it's either white or blue. And like, otherwise I'm probably just wearing a black shirt. Like it's just easiest for me. Same thing with like the jeans. I just own like nearly a dozen pairs of the same jeans, and like 3 of them are blue and the rest are black. And the black ones make it easy because they can like almost approximate slacks in the jeans that I got. Like this was a simplifying wardrobe problem. And that made it way easier for me. Like, a harder thing for me to ask people to do is probably to do this with your food as well, to eat very consistent things, like stock a finite set of ingredients, figure out like 7 dishes that you can cook for yourself, and then you don't have to figure out like every single night, well, what do I have? Okay, what am I going to prepare with it? And what else am I going to need? And when you're at the grocery store, like, I need to make, you know, a dozen decisions for like the next 6 days worth of cooking. It's like, if you make the decision process a regular thing, it reduces the barrier to like cooking, to going shopping, and like not dreading it. And I'm going to get into this in like another video. But like, by reducing your number of like active daily decisions, it makes you way more available for like when you have to make a real decision in life. I hope you found the video good. I'm working on the format to try to make it a little bit easier for people to extrapolate and universally apply the concepts that I'm talking about. I really appreciate all of the feedback that I've been getting from everybody, and please, like, keep it coming and leave a comment. If you liked it, likes appreciated, and as a newer channel, every subscription is like just about a new milestone. So thanks for being here. Be well, and make good choices, friends.